Imagine waking up at 3 a.m. to the sound of a howling blizzard in your living room, only to realize a neighborhood raccoon has invited itself in through your flimsy old-school dog flap. I've been there. My floors were muddy, my heating bill was astronomical, and my patience was gone. Upgrading to an electronic dog door seemed like the obvious fix, but navigating the market of faulty sensors, unreliable apps, and doors that jam is a complete nightmare. That's why I spent weeks testing the top contenders on the market to see which ones actually deliver on their promises. Stick around because the #1 pick completely eliminated my pet door anxiety. 5. PetSafe Never Rust SmartDoor Connected Pet Door. When I first pulled the PetSafe out of the box, I was genuinely excited about the concept of managing my dog's access straight from my smartphone. The idea of receiving notifications when my dog went out or came back in sounded like the ultimate peace of mind. The physical installation was relatively straightforward, fitting into the standard door cutout without demanding a masterclass in carpentry. The frame felt sturdy enough, and the connected features promised a modern solution to an age-old problem. However, the daily reality of using this connected door quickly tempered my initial enthusiasm. The companion app, while well-intentioned, often felt sluggish, and I experienced noticeable delays between adjusting a setting on my phone and the door actually responding. There were several frustrating instances where the Wi-Fi connection simply dropped, leaving my door locked and my dog staring at me with a desperately confused expression. This inconsistency meant I was constantly checking the app to make sure it was actually functioning correctly. Another significant drawback I noticed during testing was the noise level of the locking mechanism. Every time the door recognized the proprietary collar key, there was a loud, sharp clicking sound as the pins disengaged. If your dog is at all skittish or sensitive to sudden noises, this mechanical clack might make them hesitant to use the door. Furthermore, the reliance on a bulky collar key is a bit antiquated when you consider the seamless microchip technology available elsewhere. 4. Aiday Automatic Dog Door. I was immediately intrigued by its motorized operation and scheduling capabilities. Unlike traditional flap doors, this model actually opens itself electronically, which is fantastic for older dogs or pets suffering from arthritis who might struggle to push through a heavy weather seal. The design is sleek, and the adjustable settings allowed me to tinker with the opening distance and timing to suit my specific needs. The anti-pinch feature is heavily advertised, and I spent a good amount of time testing this safety measure. I cautiously placed various objects in the path of the closing door, and it did successfully detect the obstruction and reverse its track most of the time. The scheduling function also worked reliably, allowing me to lock down the house automatically at night, so I didn't have to remember to slide a manual security panel into place before going to bed. Despite these positive aspects, my real-world testing revealed some irritating quirks with its sensor sensitivity. The door relies on motion and distance sensors, and I found it was occasionally triggered by heavy rain, falling branches, or even me just walking past it in the kitchen. On the flip side, there were times when my dog approached the door at a slight angle and the sensor failed to pick him up, forcing him to stand there waiting awkwardly until he shifted his position directly in front of the lens. While the motorized open and close function is a huge plus for accessibility, the inconsistent sensor performance keeps it from being a top-tier choice. 3. High-Tech Pet PowerPet Automatic Electronic Pet Door. The high-tech represents a massive shift in how pet doors operate, utilizing a vertically sliding panel rather than a traditional swinging flap. When I installed this unit, I was immediately struck by how secure it felt. The solid, bulletproof resin panel sliding up into the housing eliminates the drafty gaps you get with conventional flaps. It gives the house a much more sealed and insulated feel, completely blocking out howling winds and extreme weather conditions. This door operates using a specialized ultrasonic collar that emits a directional signal. During my testing, I was incredibly impressed by how accurate this directional sensing was. The door only opened when my dog was actually walking directly toward it, completely ignoring him if he was just sleeping nearby or wandering past the hallway. This is a massive improvement over omnidirectional sensors that pop open every time your pet happens to be in the same room. The motorized mechanism is remarkably fast and much quieter than the locking pins on the lower-ranked models. As my dog approached, the door zipped upward smoothly, allowing him to trot through without breaking his stride. The added security is also a huge selling point for me. Because the panel is motorized and tracks upward, it is virtually impossible for an intruder or a clever raccoon to push their way through from the outside. This product firmly earns its spot in the top 3 because of its outstanding reliability and weatherproofing. Number 2. tidytech Extra Large Electronic Dog Door. For those of us with larger breeds, finding an electronic door that actually accommodates their size without compromising on security can be incredibly difficult, which is where the tidytech dog door shines. Installing this beast of a door was surprisingly manageable thanks to its telescoping frame design, which easily adapted to the thickness of my exterior wall. The sheer scale of the opening is perfect for big dogs, ensuring they don't have to awkwardly crouch or squeeze to get outside. What really impressed me during the testing phase was the heavy-duty weatherproofing applied to a door of this size. Usually, larger flaps mean massive heat loss, but the tidytech uses a robust, tightly sealing mechanism that snaps firmly into place the moment the dog passes through. It held up beautifully against a severe rainstorm, keeping the indoor floor completely dry and maintaining the room's temperature without any noticeable drafts sneaking in. The electronic entry system utilizes an RFID collar tag that responded with lightning speed. Unlike some of the lower-ranked doors I experienced, the tidytech recognized the tag and unlocked the mechanism instantaneously as my dog approached the threshold. The fast response time meant my large dog never bumped his nose into a locked flap, creating a completely seamless and stress-free experience for him. This door is an absolute triumph for large dog owners who refuse to sacrifice technological convenience for size. SureFlap Petcare Microchip Pet Door. Setting this up was a breeze. I simply pushed a button, held some treats near the door to coax my dog over, and it instantly read and stored his existing veterinary microchip. The freedom of not forcing my dog to wear a bulky battery-powered collar just to use the bathroom is an unparalleled convenience. The performance of this door during my testing was nothing short of flawless. Every single time my dog approached, the door clicked open smoothly and reliably, reading his internal chip without a single hiccup. More importantly, it stayed firmly locked when the neighborhood stray cat tried to investigate. You can program up to 32 different pets into its memory, making it an absolute powerhouse for multi-pet households, where you might want to grant access to some animals while keeping others safely inside. One of my absolute favorite features is the highly customizable curfew mode. Using the built-in LCD screen, I was able to easily program the door to automatically lock at sunset and unlock at sunrise. This meant I never had to double-check the door before going to bed. The SureFlap handled the security protocol automatically. The battery life is also stellar, running for months on standard batteries with a clear indicator light that warns you well in advance when it's time for a change. The SureFlap Microchip Pet Door is the pinnacle of pet door technology. It combines unbeatable security, effortless microchip integration, and reliable scheduling into one incredibly sleek package. Final thought. That's all for today, folks.